Hey there, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Singapore Airlines A350 Regional Business Class on my recent flight from Jakarta Soekarno-Hatta Airport to Singapore Changi Airport in June 2025. In this video, I'm going to review the pre-flight experience, including the airport and the lounge beforehand, and then once we get on the plane, I'm going to review the seat, the amenities, the food and the drink, and the overall flight experience, including landing into Singapore Changi Airport. Our flight today from Jakarta to Singapore clocks in at just over 900 kilometers and barely 1 hour in the sky, making it one of the shortest flights on the Singapore Airlines network. I arrived today at Jakarta Airport Terminal 3. Now, I didn't film any of my arrival because somebody was dropping me off at the airport, and so I was focused on saying goodbye. However, I will say that both the check-in and the immigration were incredibly smooth and efficient. Terminal 3 is Jakarta's newest and most modern terminal, and they have electronic immigration gates, so I was through in a couple of minutes. The lounge that Singapore Airlines uses before its flights out of Jakarta is the Plaza Premium Lounge, which is located near Gate 7. This is maybe a 5-minute walk from immigration, so it shouldn't take you too long to get here. As I've explained in some of my previous videos, this is a bit of an odd lounge situation. You see, you enter the lounge, which is the standard Plaza Premium Lounge, and then there is a sign pointing SQ passengers to the far end. When you get to the far end of the lounge, there's a separate section just for Singapore Airlines passengers. A sort of lounge within a lounge, if you will. They even have a separate first class section, so a lounge within a lounge within a lounge. But that's not for this video. I've reviewed this lounge in full in a separate video, which I will link at the end of this one. However, for the purposes of this video, I came in and had a brief snack, which had a distinctly Indonesian flavour. Rice, chicken satay, spring rolls, and of course, a coffee and some Diet Coke. This was hot, tasty, and did the job until my flight. I didn't spend too long in the lounge, however, and before too long, I was making my way to my gate. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, please subscribe. Today, we were departing from Gate 8, which is right next to the lounge. I find Singapore Airlines is usually pretty good with Jakarta Airport. The lounge is at 7, and you normally depart from 5, 6, 7, or 8, meaning you don't have to walk far. Before boarding, I snapped a very quick shot of the Airbus A350 that was going to fly us to Singapore today. Because I didn't walk to the gate until the lounge announcement, boarding had already commenced when I arrived, and I effectively walked straight onto the plane. And this is going to be my home for approximately the next hour and a half, seat 17A. I know this looks like champagne, but you'll have to trust me, it's not, it's apple juice. In addition to the welcome drink, we were also offered a hot towel, which I gladly accepted due to Jakarta's incredibly humid weather. Taking a quick look around the seat, you can see that the in-flight entertainment is controlled by this digital remote control, which was incredibly responsive. To the left of the seat, there is a small compartment that has storage for your headphones and the menu, as well as 2 USB-style A chargers and a universal power socket. If you're traveling for business and have a jacket with you, there's also a little coat hanger to hang your jacket. For a regional seat, there's plenty of legroom, although if this was anything long haul, you would struggle to fit your legs into there. That said, the seat does lie flat. The headphones were Singapore Airlines' own branded headphones. They were noise cancelling and padded and very comfortable. After about 20 minutes on the plane and spot on time, we began our pushback from the gate, and they began to play their iconic safety video.
Welcome aboard Singapore Airlines. As the safety equipment on this aircraft may differ from that on other aircraft, please give us your attention as we bring you through this important safety briefing and on a journey through Singapore. Located in the seat pocket in front of you for more information. On behalf of Singapore Airlines, we hope you have a great time on board as well as in Singapore or anywhere else in the world we take you.
They've had that video for about 5 years now and it never gets old. I was happy to report that post-COVID, Singapore Airlines has returned to paper menus. Let's take a look. And by the way, I'm doing a new format for these. I'll be scanning the menu instead of taking a video of them. Let me know in the comments if you prefer this. Our dinner menu tonight is on the right and consists of a 3-course meal. For the main course, I went for the Malay-style prawns, and I'll be reviewing this fully later in the video. Despite the flight being barely longer than an hour, Singapore Airlines caters a full bar, including champagne and 3 choices of white wine. They also have a choice of 2 reds and a fortified wine. Seriously, for a 1-hour flight, this is impressive. After taxiing for about 15 minutes, we arrived at the runway and it was time to take off. Just like that, we were airborne and on our way to Singapore. As this is such a short flight, the crew sprang into action and began serving our meal barely 10 minutes after we'd taken off. Understandably, given the length of the flight, the meal was served with all 3 courses at once on a tray. For starter, we had a smoked salmon Waldorf salad. This was okay, nothing to write home about, but it was a nice introduction to the meal. For the main course, I had the Malay prawns with creamed jackfruit and rice. This was very tasty. They had done something wonderful to that jackfruit and it was really delicious. And the prawns were fresh and deveined, which is always important. For dessert, we had the caramelized banana cake. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of banana cake, but as far as it goes, this was a fairly good version of it. If you enjoy banana cake, this likely won't disappoint you. Our meal today was served with 2 slices of Singapore Airlines signature garlic bread. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is probably, in my view, the best garlic bread in the sky. Having finished my meal, I went to the toilets to check them out and saw that they were very nicely appointed, containing fresh flowers and were a decent size with plenty of room to move around. Not only that, but Singapore Airlines had gone to a real effort to differentiate them from the economy toilets. The finish was excellent, featuring dark wood panelling, and the toilets were absolutely spotless. Further, Penhaligon's toiletries are provided, including an eau de toilette, a hand lotion, and a facial mist. Penhaligon's is a high-end London brand, so it was really cool to see these featured in the toilets. Speaking of amenities, the flight also featured a separate drawer containing everything you would need, from shavers to toothbrushes to combs to shaving cream. This is more than you need for a 1-hour flight, but it was very generously provided. Having visited the toilet, I sat back down in my seat, and pretty much as soon as I sat down, the captain came on the intercom to announce we were beginning our descent into Singapore. This is a super short flight. On our descent, I noticed what appears to be a flame in the distance, and I wondered had some kind of accident happened, but it turns out, upon Googling it when I landed, this is actually a Malaysian oil and gas refinery, and the flame, I don't know exactly what it does, but it's related to the oil and gas. If you know what this is for, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, time to land. Sorry about the noise from the kid in that video. I think he was enjoying the landing more than I was. Taxi to the gate took about 6 minutes. Well, I say about. It took exactly 6 minutes because I timed it. And being a business class passenger, I was one of the first off the plane. Today, we landed into Singapore Changi Airport Terminal 2. As usual, Singapore immigration was lightning fast, and in only about a minute, I was sat in the baggage area waiting for my bag to come out. Singapore Airlines does a really good job of prioritizing business and first class bags, and so my bag came out barely 5 minutes after I had arrived. Sometimes, if I arrive from a far gate, the bag gets there before I do. Again, as usual, there was no queue for a taxi, and in no time at all, I was in a car on my way back to my apartment. Overall, I enjoyed this flight, would recommend it, and would take it again. The lounge beforehand, for a regional lounge, does a very good job. They do tasty food, and it never gets too crowded. The seat, despite being the regional configuration, is actually better than some airlines' business class products for long haul. The amenities, from the headphones to the toiletries in the bathroom, were very high quality. For the meal, whilst it wasn't the tastiest meal I've ever had, to get a 3-course meal on a 1-hour flight was very impressive. A lot of airlines will only offer a sandwich, if anything at all, on a flight of this length. And whilst I didn't partake, I could see that the wine list was super extensive. Now, you might say that you don't need business class for a 1-hour hop to Jakarta, and I'd completely agree with that. This is not in any way, shape or form needed. Economy would do just fine, as would a budget airline. That said, if you want to travel in comfort, this is one of the cheapest business class routes that Singapore Airlines offers and a great way to experience the product. If you have cash or air miles to burn, I would highly recommend this. It's undoubtedly the most comfortable and smoothest way to get between Jakarta and Singapore.